This is the Apple 1 month overview reading for the month of October 2023. It's currently August 25th, 2023, 9:03 p.m. Eastern Time. Apple, at the time of this reading in the extended hours, is currently $178.57. That's USD. And the shuffle file for the Apple reading was created on August 1st, 2023 at 1:31 p.m. Eastern Time. That's this video right here. So the overall theme of behavior for Apple in the month of October, there's a near overbought crest or peak that we sell off from pretty notably. It's crossed with a big move to the upside. Looks like an irrational move higher, reaching for a distant resistance. So after the decline, there should be a pretty big move higher. Behavior around the highest high. So we'll be at an overbought peak that we sell off from through multiple support levels. And it looks like quite a lot of ground is covered to the downside. There's a unicursal in the low correlation position, indicating a significant decline to meet the low, and there'll be a period of volatility in which there's a sharp drop that'll stand out on a multi-day scale in the midst of that period of volatility. That sharp drop will take us to the low for the month. It's possible that Apple doesn't follow suit with a lot of the other stocks in October, which are meeting like lows for the year. I think Apple's lows probably a bit later into the year. Before we go any further, let's take a look and see how we're doing on the 1 year thus far. So we had a highest high for the year in June, July, and it looks like we had first this high right here on the cusp, the last days of June, and then a slightly higher one in July, followed by a decline into August. So that highest high we nailed. And it looks like the decline off of the high in August offers opportunity to open up a long position. Probably we see that like close to this high again in the very end of August or in early September, followed by another sharp drop where we have this unicursal taking us into lows here in October. Yeah, the decline starts probably in the same location right around the end of August. There's this decline into October where we most likely see a lowest, not a lowest low for the year, but it'll really stand out as a low. I think the lowest low for the year for Apple is probably here in November, December. But overall, that's looking like a pretty solid reading, guys. The end of July, super strong drop, and you can see that there. Out of the low, we should push the upper end of the range higher. So there's going to be a big move out of the August low to the upside, taking us probably back, like I said, to price levels around there. This is a solid reading. So let's get into the day-by-day chart behavior. On the first, we have an important price level. It's possible that this is our highest high. So we most likely have our highest high. This is the highest probable location of the highest high. I say that based on correlations to the high correlator here. But also based on the S&P 500 and other stocks where I've seen the high somewhere around the second or the fourth, fifth. I think it's probably the highest high here on the second. The Ace of Swords often is a highest high indicator, but a lot of price change should be covered here around an important resistance on a multi-day scale. And then on the third, we probably decline on the second from that resistance into the third. And then in the third, there's a sideways rotation establishing support and then a big move higher, standing out on a multi-day scale. It looks like there might be a big move higher at the very end of the day and then maybe a gap down overnight, but another move to the upside on the fourth to another prominent peak or crest. It could be the highest high again or just another prominent peak or crest here on the fourth, fifth. And then on the fifth, a lot of price change covered to the downside, an important support level highlighted, a big move early in the morning on the sixth to the upside, followed by a decline through multiple support levels into a trough at the end of the day on the 6th, or possibly early in the morning on the 9th. On the 9th, there's a failed attempt to break through key resistance on a multi-day scale, followed by a decline through key support. An important support level highlighted on the 10th. That's important on a 1 year scale at least. Usually it's relied upon, and it looks like at least for the day of the 10th, it can be relied upon. This is another possible location of a high. It seems like the Apple chart pattern is deviating a little bit from some of the other ones. There might be another high here, but with that said, we have quite a bit of volatility on the 11th. On the 12th, we go from a trough early in the day to a big move higher and a peak or crest at the end of the day. So an important trough on a multi-day scale early in the day, and then at the end of the day, we have a prominent peak or crest. And there's also a day trade opportunity in there on the 12th and a trade opportunity on the 13th. And we'll talk about these trade opportunities in more detail in the paid version. Guys, if you're interested in the paid version, it's a really great way to support the channel. It's one if you utilize the information from these monthlies regularly, it's really the right thing to do, guys. Channel needs support. So you do that by going to our services, SO Meta Posts, scroll down to monthly subscription, scroll down to Apple, subscribe here. And what you get for the paid version of Apple are the best trades that we see for the month, and what type of chart behavior to see around what time, like estimated time frames. You also get trade information for multi-year standpoint, for multi-month standpoint when it's relevant. It's usually about, in addition to the public version, it's usually about another 3 to 10 minutes of video, and a great way to support the channel. So thank you for those of you that go ahead and do that. All right, so on the 13th, we have a period of sideways rotation. It looks like actually overnight there's a significant gap down into the morning of the 13th, and then we have sideways rotation on the 13th. A sharp drop in the period of sideways rotation there that should stand out. On the 16th, a notable decline on the 16th, sitting out on a multi-day scale. And it looks like there's a speaker at the end of the day that impacts Apple somehow, and whatever's being spoken about shouldn't be trusted or relied upon. On the 17th, we likely open higher. There's a prominent crest or peak, and we sell off pretty notably again there on the 17th to a trough around the cusp, or the end of the day on the 17th, or around the cusp of the 17th, 18th, where we most likely have a lowest low there early in the morning on the 18th. In the period of sideways fluctuating decline, it's on the cusp. There's a lowest low there on the cusp of the 17th, 18th. There's also a peak midday on the 18th, so a lot of like mixed behavior going on. On the 19th, we have a failed attempt to break through key resistance, and it'll be resistance that we expect to break through based on technicals. Instead, we decline through key support, probably through the lowest low that we just previously made. We go into a lower price level possibly. Erratic behavior back and forth through the same price level on the 20th. A crest that's revisited in the midst of that erratic behavior was recently a past opportunity, and then we have another decline from a peak or crest on the 23rd, probably open to the upside on the 23rd, and then we decline pretty notably through multiple supports. On the 24th, a notable reversal. There's an important price level that's highlighted midday at a peak or crest. We probably poke through it momentarily. On the 25th, early in the day opportunity, trade opportunity, we'll talk about in more detail in the paid version, as well as on the 24th, the 18th, the 20th. I left that out. All those great trade opportunities, the 16th as well. We'll talk about all that in more detail in the paid version. But on the 25th, we go from a decline into a big move higher out of what's probably a lowest low again there on the 25th, 26th. Sideways rotation on the 26th along key support on a multi-day scale. On the 27th, sideways fluctuating rally that precedes a decline. I think there's actually a pretty big move here to the upside from the 25th into the 26th, 27th. As far as the 30th, important range on a multi-day scale. Looks like we're highlighting the upper end of a range. So there's a big move there towards the end of the third week out of a low, guys. Big move to the upside. That's probably that. Matter of fact, there's a correlation here in yellow to the lust card. So there's that lust move here, 25th, 26th, taking us to the upper end of a range on the 30th. And then I'm advised to be cautious on the 31st. Some tricky chart behavior, maybe multiple false tops or bottoms. Sneak preview for November. Out of a decline, there's a big move from the bottom of a range to the top of a range, and that's a range on the multi-day scale. We're going to get into the paid version momentarily. Guys, if you, be sure to follow the rule of karma. It's super important for the channel. You do so here at the resources tab of our website, Tarot for Traders, where our angel investors are donating 5% of the profits that they make from this information forward to one of these charities through a link here, and 5% of the profits back to the channel through one of these links here. That leaves you with 90%. Make sure to spend that out of love. As long as you follow those rules, you're an angel investor of the channel. The universe is going to send it back to you tenfold through this channel, my friends. And doesn't it feel good to do good for the world? It makes me feel good. Hopefully it makes you feel good too. All right, guys. I'll see you guys on the next one. Stay tuned if you got the paid version.